First off, I'm not exactly sure what the dosage of Datura seeds was, but it was around 250 seeds throughout the day. It all started at around 11 a.m. on a Saturday. At that time, I found some dead Datura stramonium on my land. The seed pods on most of them were open, but they still had a lot of seeds in them, so I gathered as many seeds as I could. When I got back to my house, I crushed up about 100 seeds and put them in a tea bag and dipped it in some really hot water. The water turned a yellowish green color, which I put sugar in and cooled it. I drank the whole thing around 11:30 a.m. and waited around for an hour for the effects to kick in, and when they didn't, I ate about 75 more seeds. Then I got a little impatient after half an hour and decided to eat another 75 seeds to ensure that I got effects off baseline. An hour later, 1 p.m., the effects started to kick in. It wasn't very intense, but I did notice the effects. My pupils became dilated, my heart was beating at a rather fast rate, about 120 beats per second, and all of the fingertips on my right hand felt like they were numb and swelling. I had to be at work at 4 o'clock, and since I didn't have any loss of motor control or any visual changes, I decided to just go to work without eating any more seeds. My pupils were still dilated, and my heart was still racing the whole time I was working. When I got off work, I decided to go out and get some allergy pills to trip off of, since the Jimson weed failed at giving me any hallucinations. I am fairly experienced with the effects of the allergy pill trip, and about 23 or 24 pills with 25 milligrams of diphenhydramine usually gets me to a good hallucinogenic state, but I have never talked to or even seen people that weren't there until this night. I took 23 pills around 7 p.m., not thinking that they would intensify the chemicals in the Datura seeds, but maybe I should have thought about it because I could have killed myself. Around 8 o'clock, I got a ride back to this party house I have, and the effects started to kick in. I got a really heavy feeling throughout my whole body, and I felt really tired. I didn't tell anyone at the house that I had taken anything, but I did start smoking this half joint that I had when I got there. I was sitting out on the front porch with one of my best friends while I was smoking it. After a few minutes of talking to him, he could tell I was really fucked up because I would forget what he was talking about in the middle of his sentences, and I would constantly call him different names. His name was Jimmy, and I kept on calling him Kyle, Sam, or sometimes Brandon. So I decided to tell him what I took, and he just laughed about it a little bit, and we just sat out there for a little while longer while I finished my joint. It was really hard to finish it though, because I would forget I was smoking it, and I would drop it all the time and had a hard time finding it because it was dark and I would hallucinate a bunch of joints all over the ground. My friend usually had to find it for me. When I got done with my J, we went to Kroger for some reason to see if my brother was working. We walked in and I was walking beside Jimmy in the store talking to him. I later found out that Jimmy never walked in there with me in the first place. And I was talking to thin air. He was just outside the store laughing at me, talking to myself. This is the point where I stopped remembering. Jimmy said he came into Kroger and started asking me who I was talking to, and I asked him if he wanted to sell the van. Neither me or Jimmy have ever had a van in our lives, so he just walked me back out to the car. He said that when we got in the car, I started talking to someone in the back seat who wasn't there. I said it was my ex-girlfriend, and he said I talked to the imaginary girl for a long time, but he couldn't understand what I was saying. I was talking to quiet, and I was mumbling most of the time, I think. The effects must have worn off slightly by the time we got back to the house because I can remember getting back there and being there. When I got there, I started talking to some people there who could tell I was really fucked up by the way I was talking, so I just told them I took some allergy pills. They would have been mad if I said I ate Jimson weed because it's poisonous, and they believed it because I was acting like I usually do on them. While I was there, I remember picking up this container that was full of weed. I remember playing with the weed for a while, saying that we should roll it up and smoke it, but everyone said that there was nothing there. I remember looking at it and feeling it in my fingers, and it seemed so real, it was crazy. After a while of sitting there, me and my brother decided to go home, and all the way home I was having slight dreams where I would be in a conversation with someone, and I would talk back to them, and the second I did, I would wake up, and my brother would ask me what I was talking about, and I just said I didn't know. At one point in the ride home, I saw car lights in the distance that said something to me, and when I talked back, they disappeared. It was nuts. When I got back to my house, I got in my room and started looking for something. I don't know what it was, but I figured I would remember when I saw it. I never found whatever it was that I was looking for, and I decided to go to sleep. I had a bunch of vivid dreams that night, and I couldn't tell if the events in my dream really happened or not. I was so confused in the morning. I was still seeing things in the corner of my eyes, and almost everything that moved was trailing that whole next day, and my pupils were still very dilated. I have stopped doing all drugs since this experience because I believe that I was close to death. I played with poison that night, and I believe I am very lucky to be alive today. I hope nobody else ever tries Datura or allergy pills. At the time of the intoxication, I didn't know. The hallucinations weren't real, so it wasn't any fun at all.